break this down one by one. I love to talk about how easy it is to overpower women. I'm not sure the type of men that you hang around with, but you might want to change your crowd, because I've never heard a man talk about how easy it is to overpower women. But, not to say that there aren't bad men that do that, because we all know that bad men and bad women exist. But that's not an overwhelming theme of men to talk about how easy it is to overpower women. Well, except maybe in the kink community where it's a dom-sub relationship. Well, and that's completely, totally consensual, and people have a right to do what they want within consent. I love to talk about how much stronger they are by nature. You know what? I've heard a lot of men talk about how strong they are because, men were built to be protectors and providers. So strength is one of their amazing attributes. But the fact of the matter is the entire feminist narrative bases their it's all men movement theory on the fact that there's a potential that a man could be a predator. And because men are larger and stronger, they're more intimidating. And so women have to watch out and fear men in case of that. But, it's bad when men talk about their strength, but okay when women use it against them. Until they get abused by one, well, at least we're on a positive note and on the same page. At least you admit that women do abuse men and that men are victims of abuse. That's a starting point, because most feminists will never admit that men experience abuse and that women can be violent abusers against men. So I'm happy and very proud of you for this epic moment in your life. Then it's nobody cares about men's issues. Believe men. Well, one, I'm going to start with the believe men. Most of the time, if a woman has so much of a scratch because a man fought back, the man goes to jail. Two, a lot of times when men report abuse, they're laughed out of police departments. They're laughed at on the phone. And three, when men say nobody cares about men's issues, and it's a man that's been a victim of domestic violence, he's experienced it. Because in our country, there's a couple thousand shelters for women of abuse, and there's 2 for men. When men are victims of abuse, they have nowhere to turn. The suicide rate in our country is 3.88 times higher for men than it is in women. But nobody's screaming about that mental health crisis. Fathers are alienated every day from their children in a court of law, but nobody's screaming about family court. Men have issues too. Now to address your silly little comment here, Matty is far from a misogynist. He's an egalitarian, and he calls out toxic behavior in both men and women. More so in women, because he witnesses it more in women as a man. But that also shows your cognitive dissonance and that of the feminist movement, that when you don't have an argument, you just say they're misogynist so that you can dismiss them. But as you went back and forth in the comments with Maddie, you ended up saying one of the things I really hate, that misandry doesn't exist. And that shows you're just blind to what's happening in our world and online. Because I get on TikTok every single day and I see hundreds of posts that say things like, kill all men, I hate all men are rapists, women shouldn't date ugly men. And if that isn't evident that misandry exists, I don't know what is. But I know that you're not going to look, and if you do, you're going to ignore them because they don't fit your narrative. So you have the day you deserve, and do better.